Yo, what's going on, guys? Crispy Flakes here for today's video, man. We have my win-loss predictions for every single NBA team. This is about as close to having everything official as we can because while to making this video, NBA tip-off is tomorrow, man. Regular season. I've really enjoyed the preseason, summer league, offseason, all that good stuff, man. I'm sure some teams have probably, enjoyed it more than others. But yeah, let's get going on this. If you guys don't mind leaving a like and subscribing if you're new to the channel. The way we are going to do this is I do have, a Bleacher Report article up right here, man. So I'm going to give, just kind of use it as like a placeholder so I can kind of like give my predictions on a team-by-team basis. Really don't care what Bleacher Report has to say about this because more times than not, it's wrong. So yeah, man, let's get it right with Crispy Flakes. Regular season predictions, man. Starting off with the Atlanta Hawks. So, the Atlanta Hawks had a pretty big offseason. They got Kristaps Porzingis. They got Luke Kennard. They got Alexander Walker. And as far as losing players, Karis LeVert, injury-prone player. I love him in Detroit, but he's injury-prone. Larry Nance, it's fine, non-factor. And they lost Clint Capella, who Porzingis is better than, right, man? So, yeah, Bleacher Report is saying, 47 and 35. That's right on the money, in my opinion. I do think, man, especially with Dyson Daniels, Ricochet going to be extremely improved and everything. Like, Trae Young is hungry, bro. Guys like Patrick Beverley, living rent-free and everything, man. Like, this team it's going to be something, man. So I'm looking forward to see what they are all about. Okay, Boston Celtics. 38 and 44. So, kind of a quiet offseason as far as getting players. They did get Anfernee Simons, which, him and Derek White in the backcourt, it's going to be interesting. Really the best thing I can say about that. But they did lose some old heads, bro. They lost, Drew Holiday. They lost Al Horford. Obviously, Kristaps Porzingis, who has old head, knees, I guess is probably the best way I could say it. Jason Tatum's going to be out for probably the entire season. So, 38 and 44. I'm going to take an over on that. And the reason I say that, man, is because Jaylen Brown finally gets a chance to be the man. And it's not like they got like some, schmucks around them. Like, they have, some pretty solid players. I'm expecting, just an all-time season for Jaylen Brown. And I could maybe see them hitting the 500, maybe like a 41 and 41 type of season. Okay, next up, we got the Brooklyn Nets, bro, with the man, Michael Porter Jr. Did not really understand the Nets going for this man right here. Nothing against him. Like, his skill set is there. He's amazing. 6'11", and stretch the floor. But to build your future around him, based off of the back history and stuff, he's going to have to literally put this team on his back. Outside of him, they got Terrence Mann, who is a pretty, good two-way player. Remember me on the Clippers last. Kobe Buffkin, who they actually just waived. So, bye-bye, man. Bye-bye. D'Lo's gone. In the end of the day, it's a retooling season. Very fragile type of team. 24 and 58. I'm taking the under there. I'm taking the under. I can't really see it no other way. Okay, Charlotte Hornets. So, there's been some big fights going on in Pistons Hornets Nation about who's better, LaMelo Ball or Cade Cunningham. Besides Hornet fans, is anybody taking LaMelo over Cade? I did not think so. He's a very talented kid, great player, but Hornet fans don't be like that, bro. Okay, man, there's no point in being like that, okay? So what have they done to get this man some help? Well, they got Colin Sexton, who I like as a six man. I don't know if I like him next to, I don't know, it'd be interesting next to LaMelo, I suppose. They didn't really do too much else. Like, Nurkic is gone. As far as centers go, Mark Williams, Brandon Miller will be more improved. Do I think they're going to be a 35 and 47 team? So they're giving them the over-under at 27.5. I think they're better than that. But I really do think they're probably about a year or two away from really, making the name out East. Somebody has to be the bad team in the East. I think they're over 27, but, maybe closer to like a 30-win type of season. That's assuming that LaMelo stays healthy, right? Okay. Chicago Bulls, 35 and 47, over under at the 30.5. The Bulls on this offseason, they retained Josh Giddey, who, I know the woes of his past is kind of what he's known for, but I will say, on the basketball court last season, he really showed that he can be, maybe a second or third option on a championship team. The Bulls still lack their, franchise player. Like Modest is great. I think he's more like a second option probably. So this team is still one piece away, but it feels like that's typically the case with them. Over under 30.5. Man, it's hard to say. Like they don't have the elite talent. They're kind of in that play-in zone, right? So you would probably be a little bit over 30.5 to be in the play-in, maybe like 34, 35 wins, I would probably have to say. We got the Cleveland Cavaliers. Okay, so what big moves have the Cavaliers made this offseason? They added on Larry Nance Jr., not Larry Nance Sr., that was like 30 years ago. Thomas Bryant, it's fine. They lost Ty Jerome, I thought was a great backup point guard. They got Lonzo Ball now too, obviously, who was a big addition to that team. Like, he went from being potential franchise player to now he could potentially one of the best like glue guys in the NBA. I think he's gonna be coming off the bench and everything. Well, Darius Garland I think is injured right now, so we'll see. But yeah, one of the strongest teams in the Eastern Conference. 57 wins. I think that sounds about right. There's a lot of talent out East, so I'm gonna say under, maybe say 55 wins. So don't get too upset about that. This team's probably going to be at least in the Eastern Conference Finals. Okay, Dallas Mavericks sitting at 42 and 40. So they, they got the number one pick in Coop. 42 and 40. That seems disrespectful, Bleacher Report, man. I mean, you got Kyrie, you got Clay, you got Anthony Davis. Derek Lively is a fantastic player. I mean, Coop is probably going to win Rookie of the Year. It's really hard to say a 42 and 41 team, looking at what they have, I mean, I'm going to go with the over, man. I'm going to say this is probably a 47-win team. I think we're going to see some flashes of Pelicans Anthony Davis, and it's going to be a good time, man. It's going to be a good time for the Dallas Mavericks. Okay, next up, we have the Denver Nuggets. So yeah, they just signed, Chris Braun to a big extension. I really like that they got Jonas Valanciunas on their team. They have Bruce Brown. Who else am I forgetting about here, man? I feel like I'm forgetting another player. Tim Hardaway Jr. from my Detroit Pistons, right? They're gonna be championship contenders. Once again, the Western Conference, extremely talented. So like, to say that like just like one team is going to win all the games is, you can't really do that. There's going to be like 3 or 4 teams that are hovering around like that mid to high 50 win type of level, and the Nuggets are going to be right there. Like, they did lose Michael Porter and everything, which isn't fun for them. But they got some solid pieces on the squad already, and other guys that are ready to step up in a more reliable way. 54, that feels about right. If I were to say over under, I would probably give him a very slight under at 53, just because, losing a guy like Michael Porter, it's not easy for a team, to adjust to that so quickly. It could be some growing pains in the beginning, man. All right, we got my Detroit Pistons at 45 and 37. So, who'd they bring in? Karis LeVert, Duncan Robinson. They lost, Fontecchio, which is fine. Tim Hardaway, losing him is fine. It does kind of suck we lost Schroeder. We don't really have a great backup point guard. Ivy's going to be out for the first month of the season. Malik Beasley obviously has caught up in some stuff still. So, I mean, that's a lot to not have right off the bat. Malik Beasley hit a historical amount, of threes for the Pistons last season. And I'm still really concerned about that backup point guard spot. I really want to see, Dennis Jenkins get the spot. He played really good in the preseason. It's probably going to be Marcus Sasser. Sasser he reminds me too much of Colin Sexton. It's not a bad thing necessarily, but I would not run Colin Sexton at point guard. I would put him as shooting guard, right? And we just kind of seem to be lacking that playmaking at that 2 spot. So I think that's kind of what we need to go for very early on. Over under 44.5. I mean, they're talking about top 5 MVP caliber type of player next season, man. So, I mean, for that, you have to give them a slight over. Celtics are going to be weaker next season. That definitely helps. I think the Bucks are going to be weaker next season, obviously in our division and everything. I would say 45, 46 wins, building on what they did last year. definitely not out of the realm of possibility. So I'm going to give them a slight over on the 44.5. Okay, next up, Golden State Warriors, man. Warriors. So I do have some notes on my side over here, bro. You know, just kind of working off that too. So I got everything down correctly. Golden State Warriors starts with a G. Okay. That's right. They brought in Al Horford. Big Al Horford. Big old head. They lost Kevon Looney, who's been in that team, you know, for like 20 years. He's like the James Jones of the squad. Old is the best way to put the squad, you know, but still them. It's still Curry. It's still Jimmy Butler. We might start seeing a slight decline. I still don't love the chemistry between, you know, Kuminga and the rest of the squad. Pod doesn't seem to be what everybody thought he was going to be. 44 wins. See, this is a team that I could see regular season not being as great as we expect, but, you know, come playoff time, you know, playoff Jimmy, playoff Curry, just made that up kind of, but yeah, man, I'm going to give them a slight under. I think they are more in that 7th to 10th seed type of realm going in the play-in, but then come playoff time, you don't really want to see them out there, right, man? A big part of this is going to come down to Al Horford, too, you know, kind of what he's doing at that center spot, so I don't know, a 40-year-old Al Horford or Kevon Looney at any point in his career? Who are you taking? Okay. Next up, we got the Houston Rockets. This one right here, man, I just saw reports that their starting lineup is going to be Amin Thompson, Kevin Durant, Jabari, Alpi, and Steven Adams. That sucks. Not as players, as a rotation. And I get it, man. You know, they don't really have a point guard right now outside of Reed Shepherd, who is just in his second year because they lost, you know, Fred VanVleet to his injury. I understand they need to have a backup point guard. It just seems like they are making up for something that's going to affect the team by making the situation even worse. Like, you are completely throwing off the balance of everybody's, you know, comfortable, natural positioning. The spacing's not really there. I mean, that's the thing, though. The talent is amazing. I would seriously start Reed Shepherd and not do what they're doing. Put Steven Adams on the bench. Alpi needs to be at center. Jabari at the 4. KD at the 3. You know, Amin at the 2 spot. Something like that. I don't know. Like this. Or if you could put Amin at point guard and then just get like a normal 3-and-D shooting guard. I don't know, man. I just don't like what they're doing. So they're predicting 52 and 30. Over under being 55.5. I do think having Fred VanVleet is, or not having him, I should say, is cause for concern, so I'm going to give them the lower, but still contending for a championship. Yeah, I would probably say that 52 and 30 record, that feels about right. I would say that feels about right, man. There's going to be some concerns there, though. Indiana Pacers at 36 and 46. Okay, so they lost Miles Turner, just the guy that's been there forever. They are an extremely, you know, experienced roster and everything still after their run last season. I feel like this is really, really hateful. So how long is, I guess, okay, how long is Tyrese out for? Is he missing the entire season? Because if he's back at some point, he'll be okay. You know, Pascal Siakam, I mean, he's kind of proven that he's more of a 2 than he is a number 1 guy. Going back, you know, to when Kawhi initially left the Raptors years ago back in 2020. Man, 38.5. I mean, it does kind of just seem like an unfortunate season where they lost a big piece. You know, there's injuries out there, man. They'll still be competitive, but you're going to look for the 26-27 season for this team to really be back. So I want to give them the under. If I'm being honest, I don't know their draft pick situation, so it wouldn't be a bad idea to kind of write off this season anyway. I mean, plus, you know, Durant, LeBron, they're all going to be older, you know, another year from now, man. So... well, because everybody will be technically. But yeah, I'm going to give them the under, not disrespectfully, just based off of unfortunate, you know, circumstances. Okay, LA Clippers at 50 and 32. Oh, man. Okay, so Norman Powell's gone. Amir Coffee, bro. They don't want their coffee no more, right? But they did bring in Bradley Beal and CP3, which is a whole-ass backcourt 10 years ago. They also got John Collins, which is interesting. I mean, James Harden, Kawhi Leonard. Like, it's kind of the same case as the Warriors, where the talent and big names are there. It's just an 82-game season is a long time. So, you're really, I think this team's going to have to come down to, obviously, Kawhi and James Harden. Guys like Kawhi, he is going to load manage. He's going to. It's going to happen. We can't just not assume that's not going to happen. So at that point, that's where, guys like Bradley Beal need to go from, the Washington Wizards shot-chucking days to just being an efficient role player. And I don't know if Bradley Beal knows how to do that. He needs to have a 3 or 4 mindset but it just seems like he still thinks of himself as number one option, and that just can't be the case. He truthfully could win 6th Man of the Year if he embraces that role, and takes over for Harden or Kawhi or whoever else might be down with an injury. You pair that with John Collins, and you have a nice little 1-2 punch there even, man. 50 and 32. I mean, the players are there. That feels pretty much on the money. I guess since I can't go on the nose with it, let's put injuries into a factor and say under 49 wins, okay? They could also win 51. I don't care that much, bro, okay? All right, Los Angeles Lakers, 50 and 32 with the over-under being 48.5. So, they brought in DeAndre Ayton, Marcus Smart. Sounds like some pretty big names. Lost Dorian Finney-Smith. Obviously the team's aging. Well, I guess LeBron is. So the team. I'm just joking, man. I really like Marcus Smart on this team. I feel like if he's being efficient with his 3-point shot, he could be the best version of Mario Chalmers that LeBron's ever played with, and that's going to pair nicely also with Luka Doncic going forward. Ayton, former number 1 pick. If Ayton was to have his best season, it would be this season coming up. He is playing with Luka and LeBron, 2 of the greatest playmakers of all time. If DeAndre cannot make it work with this team, he is officially in Kwame Brown status, bro, which is fitting, being with the Lakers. 48.5 over-under. I'm going to give him the over on that. I just think this team's too talented. I'm going to say 50 wins. Okay, next up, Memphis Grizzlies sitting at 42 and 40. So, what did they do? They brought in KCP. They brought in Ty Jerome. They lost Desmond Bane, who I think is one of the most underrated players in the NBA. He's definitely that Chris Middleton type of guy where he just is the perfect complement as a star player to your, superstar players. 42 and 40 with the 40.5 as the over-under. That seems about right. It's going to come down to John Morant. He's having an NBA MVP caliber season. Jaren Jackson also. The injuries are concerning to me, and losing Bane is concerning. I'm going to say closer to 40 wins, 40 and 42. So that would technically be the under. Am I being a hater? Let me know in the comment section below. Okay. Miami Heat, 42 and 40. Ooh, right off the bat, I'm thinking under on this one, man. I don't mean to be a Heat hater. They added Fontecchio. They added Davion Mitchell, who's showing some signs. I think Davion fits this team perfectly. Brought in Norman Powell, who could just go off and be an all-star this season. I really think he has that potential. They lost Kyle Anderson, Highsmith, Kevin Love's gone. Probably playing status. I think Hero's out for some time too. 42 and 40. It feels generous. I'm gonna say 38 wins. I don't know, man. There's so many teams that just lack that number 1 guy, which is hard because finding a number 1 guy is tough. But then you have other teams that got 3 or 4 of them, right, man? Because I'm looking at this picture in front of us, this is the core, right? It just, I don't know. It just feels like playing, which I guess 42 and 40. Let's be nice. Over 43 wins. I'll be nice. Okay. Milwaukee Bucks over under 42.5. Milwaukee Bucks. What have they done? They brought in Cole Anthony. They got Coffee, and they got Miles Turner. They lost Pat. Damian Lillard's waived. Brook Lopez is gone. So, when you think about it, Damian Lillard was not great for this team. Cole Anthony goes from a log-jammed, Orlando Magic team to a team where he could, if he puts the time in, be the best guard on the team, right? So if he could be as good of player as Damian Lillard was for this team. I mean, that's great. Miles Turner is basically a younger Brook Lopez, you know, like his, as far as how he's going to fit style-wise into this team. That was a really good signing. And obviously Giannis is out there. There's been a little drama about Giannis's future with the team and everything. They're really trying to make him happy. They have signed, you know, the entire family tree to a contract. So they're giving over under 42.5. So this is the thing. I said my Pistons are 45. Do I think my Pistons are better than the Bucks? I think we have a more balanced roster. I'd probably say the Bucks, probably more like 44 wins. I'm going to give them the over, and that's just respect towards Giannis. And kind of, they also got younger, so you got to go with that too, man. But I feel like this team's still missing something. Somebody's got to be brought into the squad. I'm not quite sure who that someone is. Okay. T-Wolves, 50 and 32. I don't think they made too many changes. They're basically running it back. They lost Luka Garza, Garzilla. So the talent's still there. Edwards, at this point, like, how much of a next step can he go? He's already the best shooting guard in the NBA. I think this is probably the last season with this core right here. At that point, you're looking at retooling around Anthony Edwards. But 49.5... for the over-under, I'm going to give them that. I think they're probably about a 53-win team. Naz Reid is one of my favorite players in the NBA, too. Like, really, since his rookie season, I kind of saw his skill set and knew what he was going to become. So, I would like to see him get some more PT, though. Honestly, I wish Rudy Gobert wasn't on the team, but he is, so, he's kind of part of things. We'll give him the over. Okay, Pelicans, 25 and 57, over and under 29.5. So the Pelicans, I know they made quite a few. Yeah, okay, I guess this isn't technically a move, but, the DeJounte Murray's healthy and back and everything, so that's great. They got Sadiq Bey, which kind of logjammed forward team even more. Kevon Looney is a guy that exists. They were able to draft, Derek Queen, I believe his name is. Bruce Brown's gone, CJ's traded. Oh, man. I think I really like Trey Murphy, really like Herb Jones, but I don't know if I like those guys next to Zion. I guess I do. It's fine. 29.5. At some point, bro, you can't just keep on having these horrible seasons to Zion, though, man. At some point, you're kind of going into buzz status as far as what people thought you are versus what you actually are. I like that Hawkins dude they got. I mean, I don't think they're 29.5 bad. I could see them winning 32 games, 30, 31 games, maybe something like that. I'm going to give them the over. Okay, next up, we got the New York Knicks at 51 and 31. They have not made any crazy moves this offseason. They're kind of going with the running back mentality. They got Jordan Clarkson, which at this point, he's not one of the best 6 men in the league anymore, but he's still, a good quality 8th or 9th man to play on the team. They lost Precious Achiuwa, God bless. Yeah, they're going for the Eastern Conference, title. So 53.5, I'm going to give them the over on that. I think they're a very talented squad. As much as I hated the series against the Pistons, can't deny that they're great. They suck. They're going to lose all their games. Okay, OKC Thunder, 62 and 20. I mean, another team that's kind of just running it back, and why wouldn't you? 62 and 20. See, that's the thing about having one of the youngest teams in the NBA that's also one of the best, is that you don't really get that championship fatigue. This is the team that's extremely young, and they're like, hey, let's go be a dynasty. Why the hell not, man? And they're going to be just as hungry as they were last year, to win another one. Over under 62.5. I'm going to give them the under. They're going to be in that 60 range. A lot of talent, Okay. Orlando Magic, 49 and 33. So this is a team that is kind of my dark horse for next season in the Eastern Conference. I don't really know if you can really consider it a dark horse, but I don't know. I don't hear people talk about the Magic too much. This front court right here, one of my favorites in the NBA, like Paolo and Wagner, man, they are good. You add in Desmond Bane, Desmond Bane, and the type of player he is the type of guy that could propel Paolo to the next level, even more than he already is. 50.5 for the over-under. I think this is probably a top 2 seed in the Eastern Conference next season, and I think they're probably about 54 wins. I really like this team here, man. They lost Cole Anthony, KCP. But they got Desmond Bane and Tyus Jones, who is just a really good solid backup point guard. And yeah, this could really be the breakout team of the season. So I'm going to give them the over. Okay. We got the Philadelphia 76ers 38-44. They didn't really do too much this season, which is concerning based off how last season went. So I think if you were to go based off of last season, I mean, playoff P is older and wasn't very good last year. Tyrese Maxey's fine. I like Tyrese. Joel Embiid MVP caliber player when he's healthy. Over under 41.5. I mean, you can't look at last season and see the lack of moves they did this season and be like, oh, they're all, all good to go. I'm going to go with the under on that. I think they're closer, maybe high 30s. But at the same time, maybe, you still got Paul George. Maybe all of a sudden he got good at basketball again. I don't know, man. It's hard to say. Okay, Phoenix Suns 29-53. Oh, wait. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Jalen Green's on this team now. That's their backcourt. Jalen Green and Devin Booker. Even Devin Booker looks concerned there, man. But 31.5 for the over-under for them? Damn, bro. What was the record last season? I do not remember. But, oh, shoot, that's right. Mark Williams is not on the Hornets no more. Damn, Hornets, under, even more. I like him on this team, though. I think that Mark Williams is expectationally exactly what Ayton did for this team. But just in a way that's like, yeah, Mark Williams is doing that. Ayton should be better, So I like that for the squad. They got Dylan Brooks, Jalen Green, Mark Williams. It seems a little discombobulated. I still don't really like that Green and Booker exist on the same team. It just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. It really doesn't. 31.5, I think they're better than that. Like, Devin Booker's better than that. He's like, I think they're at least 38, And even that, I mean, maybe Green breaks out this season with the D-Book. Maybe it works. I don't know, man. I don't think it will. I really wish they would get this man an actual point guard, though, on his team again. Okay, next up, Portland Trail Blazers 36-46. So, this could be a bit of a dark horse team. They did bring in Jrue Holiday. They got Damian Lillard, who is injured, so he's not going to be doing nothing. Lost on Fernie Simons. They just signed Shaedon Sharpe, to a really good contract, rookie extension and everything, man. So I like that. Denny Avdija, he was drafted by the Washington Wizards. That team really did not allow him to kind of run the show like he should have been able to. He's a very underrated playmaker. Man, I forgot what their small forward is. Is his name on here? Okay, I mean, Klingon's good. Who's their small forward? It's like, it starts with a C, bro. TC. I don't remember his name. I'm sorry, my friends. Not good with the names all the time. So you gotta make an all-star team before I remember it. 33.5. I really like Shaedon Sharpe. Oh, man, Yang. Oh, bro, Yang is fun. I hope he gets some good playing time this season, man. I really hope he does. I'm going to give them a slight over, but they're also kind of my dark horse team for a team that could break out this year. Is that fair to say? Like, expectationally, they might not be great, but they could be great. Okay, Sacramento Kings 35-47. They brought in Russell Westbrook. I did not like that signing, bro. I got nothing against Westbrook, but the Kings are not the team for him. But then again, if nobody else is calling, any team is the team for you. This team like 5-6 years ago would have been something, but it's a team it's a team full of third options at this point in their careers. Exactly mean third option on a championship team. DeMar DeRozan probably a fourth option on a championship team. Sabonis, third option on a championship team, man. They just don't have the pieces they need, right? So, I mean, 35-47, that feels about right. I'm going to give them the under and say 34 wins. There's just a lot of concerns here. I just think that's the thing about the NBA today. There's a lot of talented teams. I think this team has a lot of talent on it, just not as much as other teams. It seems really mean to say. Okay, you know what I mean, though. San Antonio Spurs at 45-37. They drafted Dylan Harper. That was their big move. They lost CP3. De'Aaron Fox got a full offseason with the team. Wembanyama grew another 2 inches, which is scary to think about. Over under 43.5. Way over on this, bro. I love this team, okay? I will say in hindsight, I kind of wish they didn't bring in De'Aaron Fox. I feel like they could have got somebody else, maybe to put around, Wemby. But at the time, you only know what you know. They didn't know they were going to get Dylan Harper. Castle was Rookie of the Year. I mean, I still kind of got Penny Hardaway comparisons for Castle. But Wemby's going to average 20 blocks, 20 rebounds, 200 points a game. I think they're a 50-win team. The fact of the matter, too, is the Celtics probably gonna be coming off the bench because he's more of a playmaker, and this team kind of needs role players alongside Wemby. So you have Vassell who could contend for 6th man of the year, running the second unit. Oh man, it's gonna be fun for y'all Spurs fans. Not fun for the rest of the NBA. Over. Okay, Toronto Raptors 36-46. This picture kind of sums it up right here, man. I mean, Scotty Barnes has peaked as a player, but he peaked at a place that is still in the realm of really solid, not quite an all-star, but pretty damn close. The issue is that this team is just a whole bunch of dudes, bro, okay? You got Scott, you got Ingram, you got RJ, Manuel Quickley's fine and everything, but there's just, not a lot of... I think this team lacks hope, It lacks identity. It's a whole bunch of quality players that... if they play well, I mean, you probably trade them, and you still kind of build around Scotty, right? I don't like Ingram on this team. I really don't. It doesn't make any damn sense, bro. 37.5. I'm going to unfortunately have to give you all the under on this, and, I'm sorry, y'all, but it's just, I don't know. The core here is not doing it for me. Utah Jazz, 16-66. Damn, bro. What'd they do? They added Kevin Love in 2025. It's about it. They got Nurkic in 2025. I mean, Ace looked really good in the preseason, so that's something to go off of. Lauri Markkanen needs to get traded 2 seasons ago. So they're giving 18.5 for the over-under. Yeah, it's going to be a bad team. There's not a lot to go off of this upcoming season. I'm going to go the under, bro. They're kind of closer to that 66 win. It's free win night, bro, whenever you play the Utah Jazz, I'm sorry to say. Washington Wizards, final team here, 18-64. They just also are a team filled with a bunch of dudes. Alex Sarr, yeah, we played against him in the preseason for the Pistons, which he kind of just seems like, diet soda Wemby. This is another team that kind of lacks... you see the names and you're like, which one of these guys is going to ever lead us to a championship? And then you throw with other guys that were notoriously known as, are they ever going to win us a championship? And CJ and Chris Middleton, as number one options. And once again, they're just not that. They never have been. They never will be. They never need to be that. So this almost feels like an NBA farm team where it's like CJ and Chris kind of teaching all these young bloods how to be really good third options for future other NBA teams, right, man? I mean, they would have been nice if they got Coop, because he would have been perfect as far as him and Star is your foundation, but they don't have that this season, and they're not going to get it. We'll see how next lottery goes. I'm going to give them the under, though, man, and they're going to be the worst team in the Eastern Conference. Okay, that's all we got for this video. Pretty long one here, but I wanted to give you all my take on everything. If you guys will subscribe if you're new to the channel, drop that like button. I got a big surprise dropping on 10/22 regarding my Detroit Pistons. That's all we got. Peace out, my friends.